hear me or no? Like I never know with how dead chat is. I don't understand. By internet here? Okay, great. Be sick if you guys responded
Egypt
to me
Foreign
when I
Minister says we're
said
making
things.
intensive efforts to reach a comprehensive deal between America and Iran.
We held our edge. Nothing changed. Just rotating back up, going to target. I don't know. I feel like you guys are kind of like psyching yourself out today. Don't let like the shorter time frame price action discourage you from understanding that this is just trend up and that we're just following Russell. That's been my point the entire day today. Like we know where we're going. Just to this node. Yeah. Russell's leading. Continuing to push and held our edge on NQ. Pushing up. RTY held our value high, pushing. And ES just hit target. Yes, holding POC on the daily, trying to build above our value. Just a flagging structure, building out this node into our highs. Same thing on Russell and NQ. NQ really clear hold of our pivot here, pushing POC to value, getting very tight into our high of range. We want to see this breakout relatively soon, or we're going to have to start to look for this is a failure on a retest, and then we'll get that rotation through, right? Like our trades are very simple today. It was just a very clear lower profile for the first half of the day, right? Just in here, this was our value edge was, and now we're just building above, and we're just keeping an eye on it. I don't know. I mean, I don't like just remember like your overall structure. Like, it's not. There's nothing crazy here. We know where we're headed. We've talked about it for the entire week of what I'm looking for. We got our bounce at our lows. We got our higher. We're just pushing through. We're coming up into this node. It's the first thing I said when we got on today. You don't need to find the perfect entry if you know where we're headed. Like, it's just an uptrend. As long as Russell's continuing to push, there's nothing really to worry about. Today might not be for you. That's okay. If you don't have a setup, you don't have a setup, but hopefully that you at least see that we're just like slow grinding up. And as soon as RTY finds any sort of movement, we get another push. And you can see why we're targeting where we're targeting and why we thought we would be gravitating towards that area. If you don't see that, it's fine to ask questions, right? If you're not going to trade today, or if you missed the opportunity and you don't understand what we were looking for, or why I was looking for what I was looking for, this is a great day to ask questions. If you're going to, at least you get something out of it. But I don't know.
Hito worries that Trump will defang the alliance as the US threatens its exit.
I don't know if you guys want to listen to it, but like it is live, the audio. It says ES into our ETH high and target.
Press TV, citing Iran's military spokesman, says Iran will sever the
Later.
feet of any aggressors who dare to invade.
And there's our 10. You can leave a runner, but this is target. This is where we expected price to go. I have taken off one more, and let's see what we can do. Next target is just the VPOC, man. 373. Just into this node. That's all we're doing. It's just rotating up. Russell continuing to lead up, which means we still have trend, which means you can still just chill. Trades free. Looking for like 370, 400 as next target. If we can hold up here. We're just trading our higher time frame
More
range.
information on the
Russell
NATO
continuing to
worries
lead up.
that, again, Trump will defang the alliance as the US threatens to exit. So European allies are skeptical that Trump will actually pull the US out of NATO, but they do still fear the president's renewed threats to do so that are eroding the military alliance at a precarious moment. So Trump on Wednesday capped mounting US critiques of the NATO agreement with a suggestion that he was strongly considering leaving the alliance. His comments came after Secretary of State Rubio, typically seen as Washington's NATO defender, chided the alliance for its very disappointing response to the war in Iran.
310's becoming our value high here on NQ. Value shifting to our PT. If 310's can continue to hold, we're going to head up to 380. No change in anything that we've talked about so far today. Russell continuing to lead. Very clear and concise trend. I'm not too sure what like why it's so low energy today. I don't know. It's a good day. Very clear structure. Everything's just kind of doing its
Tesla's
thing.
new car registrations
trend.
in Italy are up at 31.65% year on year in March. Tesla's new car registrations in Italy up 27.35% in the first quarter from the same period of 2025. So Iran once again clarifying in a statement that Trump's claims that Iran requested a ceasefire are false. It's Iranian TV citing the foreign ministry spokesman.
Just a re-entry. I don't know, man. I think that value edge hold was pretty solid. What should you do now? Other than just flag and continue up. Gotcha. No. You don't know how to play trend? Why are you guys all so scared? What's going on? Explain to me you're scared. Why you're scared. Or why you don't think you can play higher lows. You just like are afraid that you're gonna get stopped out, or what? Like what's the this isn't me flaming. Like I'm honestly curious like why an objective trend you're unwilling to put on risk. What's the entry? Do you need the perfect entry in trend? You just want you so like you're the answer is so you're the problem is that you're not bottom ticking. So it's either you bottom tick entry or you miss the entire move in trend. I mean, that's fine if that's like your setup, but like I'm just curious as to. I mean, we've had like multiple value retests now, and then Russell leading up. Like I don't know. I mean, do I need to talk about the POC of every 15-minute candle, or like I just don't. Like, I will if I need to. I mean, like I don't know how there's like what's the entry when I gave one pivot, and then we bounce the one pivot and then go to target. So here's a new pivot. Like I don't know. That's crazy to me. But let's see if we can now hold our PT as supportive for continuation up. ES holding our value edge as supportive. There's no invalidation. There's no break in trend. We're not looking below and then offering, right? We're holding as supportive for continuation up. Yeah, it's okay. Let's see what we do. Russell continuing to lead up. Higher lows. 310s holding supportive. Pushing. Retesting highs. I don't know. I don't want you guys to get like too like held up. Like again, I stop out on the look below 140. I get back in as soon as we pop back over 160. And now you're just like antsy because you couldn't find your entry in a 20-point range. And now you're just going to miss out on an entire move up to our 310 target because of that. Like that to me is like, okay, well maybe we should problem solve instead of just sit here. So like if you have questions about that, you have to bring it up to me because I'm just going to chill in my position as
White
we head
House
up to our
official
target.
says that Trump is expected to reiterate in his Wednesday address, that's this evening, the 2 to 3 week timetable for ending operations in Iran.
So if you like are not in the trade and you're not being vocal and you're not asking questions, then I can't really help you because I'm already in the trade. Especially if you're not asking questions of being like, hey, what's a good reentry? Like that's a really simple question to ask before we get to target, you know? Like there's only so much I can do. I can't read your mind. But I'm also not going to close my position when nothing is invalidated on my trade, you know? So then I'm just sitting here. Listen, I'm not trying to create FOMO. I just want to like understand people's thought process because that'll help me help you. But like again, like if you're not in, then you just gotta let me know that you're like, hey, I'm struggling. I'm getting a bit of FOMO. What's the best potential like re-entry that I can be looking at to take risk? Like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Let's talk about it. What is stop loss here? I mean, I'm just break even, brother. I'm in from 175. So, uh, but I mean, let's watch to see what we do here into our pivot that we just created. This is ES at our value edge and ETHI just flagging. This looks fine. We're just waiting for Russell to find a low. Russell will pull back and then we'll find our next leg. Our white dotted line here is our value edge at 42. POC is this orange dotted line at 35s. So if we can hold our value edge, we should be looking for one more leg up into 70s. If this fails, we'll be watching for a re-offer from our POC into our value, and then a rotation down following our structure. If this can hold here, I'm going to be watching for a hold, secondary bid, and then a rotation up. Our catalyst is going to be RTY finding a low. We've got this range that we've just built out. I'm watching to see if we can find a bid as we push down into here. Why did the stream die? Oh, they're like outside of the meeting now, showing protesters. Why? I don't want to see this. God, Tradeify is so laggy sometimes, man. Insane. What's going on? All right, Russell coming into target now. POC trying to shift here on the daily, right at our reactive level.
An Axios reporter on X says that Trump spoke on the phone on Wednesday with Saudi Crown Prince.
An immediate bid. Watching 315 offer. 315 to 325 on NQ is where we need to flip if we're going to push. You should expect your offer to try to sit here into these highs from our bounce point across the board. Russell was our catalyst at our lows. We literally wicked into our zone, immediately found a bid, following our pathing on ES and NQ. Watch as we push into POC of previous candle on ES for your first risk off. Make this trade free. I don't know how to give you a better re-entry than that.
So in this Axios reporter's post on X, he says that they discussed the war with Iran and briefed them on the talks over a possible ceasefire, according to two people with sources of the knowledge.
Yep. No problem. Just gotta speak up, man. I got you. Why are we outside of the hall? I want to listen to these. I'm so confused. Why did this live stream change? I'm so annoyed. Oh, they're on break or what? I'm so confused. Like all the streams are down. Watching 315 on rebid here off of our failure to get over 25s. Russell holding our value edge high. Just see if we can breach or if this is going to hold. No secondary buyers stepping in as of yet. This UK PM is speaking right now. Better Basil. Wow, they're cutting energy bills by $100. Oh, that'd be nice here. Yeah, I think it's fine. We'll see. Well, you have to think is that again, like it's pretty simple. This is just a balance trade. We found our bid, you got your reoffer, we held our value edge high, we didn't get secondary buyers. That allowed for a trade from 295 up into our highs, right? We didn't get secondaries over. It's the same thing on ES. You guys have to be happy with taking profits. Like, I can't stress this enough. Like, you guys want 1,000-point moves with no profit taking. I gave you the perfect entry. Now we're watching to see what we do here. Do we fail and then rotate below? Or does this hold and can we get a secondary above? Oh my god. There's no short here until we test POC and retest value. NQ is just grinding. There's nothing here. This is a 1 minute chart and we're looking at a higher time frame. This is just chop above our value. This is NQ into our higher time frame pivot. I'm still holding. There's nothing here. We're watching to see if Russell can get this bounce. As soon as we do, ES and NQ are still holding where we need. We're still in an uptrend on the higher time frame. The 15-second chart means nothing because we're on a hourly uptrend. We're on a 15-minute uptrend. We're on a 5-minute uptrend. We're on a 1-minute uptrend. We're on a daily downtrend, but it doesn't matter because we're still in an uptrend on this local trend. Just watch our pivot and see if we can get above. This is your breakout. Until then, you get balance until Russell figures out what it wants to do. Just like it's way too illiquid for you to be looking for pinpoint entries that you're going to then be able to hold for 1,000,000 points. We're in a rotation until Russell breaks downtrend. On a yearly uptrend, true. Shifts can happen, but like we held our value edge, got a reaction, and now NQ is in a rotation. No look above. Just watch ES as we come back down into 35s. If it wants to head there, we look for a reoffer at 42s. We play it down, or you know, like we do the opposite. Here's your balance on ES that we already have pathed and ready to go. Here's your trade. New 15s, 15 seconds. Learn to take profits. This is the best thing I can tell you. Fit into our lows, watching to see if we flip and then reoffer, or if this is going to hold, and I will care once we get back over 22s. NQ just ranging. ES just ranging. If POC shifts and we hold it on retest, excuse me, then I'll care a bit more.
So, according to an official, Trump is to tout the success in achieving the goals in Iran and to give operational updates on Iran tonight. Keep in mind, he's due to address the nation tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Out of my range. Yes, and NQ. Just watch our reoffer. So far, just bidding in our lows again. This is either where ES is going to offer very clearly, or it's just the bottom of our range, and then we continue in our trend. So we'll find out relatively soon here. Regardless, it can be your first risk off, and then this can be where you're looking. NQ just rotating. We're watching to see if RTY is going to hold POC on this shift as resistance here for continuation down. Or again, if we're going to just hold POC and then continue our rotation up on the higher time frame. This is our bid here on NQ. Offer again, just at 15s. Just watching to see if we're going to do anything new here. We need to see Russell reject POC here at 49.7 for downside to make sense. Or this is just going to be a bounce. And then we look for strong secondary moves on any look outside of value. And then we just continue on our merry way. Remember, we're in an uptrend, so you need to see a very clear and dramatic sell that we can play off of, or it's just a bounce. We need to see very clear shifts outside of our current trend with a catalyst above of maybe someone off sides that we can then play off of, and then a clear re-offer. If not, then it's just going to be a rotation while we wait for Russell to get its shit together. So first risk off here into 15s if you're playing off our 295s, bottom of range. Same thing with ES. If you're playing off of our POC hold on the daily, this is POC of previous candle here. Great first risk off into 44s. And you watch to see if sell side's going to stick here and absorb, or if we're going to be able to flip above and then continue on our way. Watch Russell into our very clear pivot into our value high here. Failure to shift above and hold equals a potential catalyst with then this trader offsides above on both ES and NQ. Again, like there's really not much here other than just buying the dip. You need to see a clear sell side offer here at 15s, I think, for NQ to have the validity for a downside move. Right, like this guy has to remain offsides on retest so that we get the lower high on our balance and then we look below. Until then, like this is just the bid and we look for them to try to flip this. It is a balanced range. You're looking for a lower offer here and clear absorption. Don't overcomplicate trend. POC on the daily holding. Rotating. Offer holding at our highs without Russell breaching. It's going to be very tough for us to break this range on NQ. Again, we are just oscillating. Well, RTY is showing a bit of weakness at our edge. Yeah. So we need to now watch to see, again, if these buyers above are going to continue to remain off sides, if these buyers above are going to continue to remain off sides, and if they are, right, we'll then do another rotation of our range as Russell fails to breach our highs. That's basically all we're watching for. It's the push and pull of the market while we oscillate. Right? And all we're doing here is just building out another node in our overall trend on the day, which is straight up and to the right. This is just a box that we're trading in while we build out a new structural node. Remember, like, 310 was our target. Where are we oscillating? We're oscillating at our target. Yeah? Why are we oscillating here? What does this look like on the higher time frame? Well, this is our big-ass node that we're trying to get back into. Yeah? This is our edge here. So it's a super important area for us to be able to try to breach into. And if we can get in, then we have our next target. If this continues to fail, right, and we're just eating through this slowly but surely, and this fails out, then we'll probably rotate back down here. I don't know, on the higher time frame, something like that. But I'm not too worried about it yet. We haven't seen anything drastic enough for me to want to change bias. What should you not be doing right now? Well, you should not be buying our red zone, right? You should not be buying our zone here.
French Navy chief says a number of Chinese vessels
be
going through the
buying the
Strait of
lows,
Hormuz is not
yes?
enough to restore normal traffic flows.
Or you should try to be shorting the highs because it is balance until proven otherwise. But the overall trend is to the upside, so trying to leave runners as we push into our highs in a upper balance is not a bad thing. But just understand, like, until Russell is able to show that interest above, that you have like a very clear lower high being set right now, right? The offer is attempting to shift here, and we're just trying to develop out this POC that's shifting on the daily. So until we figure out which way that this wants to shift, right, above or below, we're just going to be in kind of a holding pattern on ES and NQ while we wait for RTY to decide. Until the market has...
The French Navy chief says China will probably need to engage more directly in the debate and show its impatience on the closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
Until the full market is participating in the same direction, you're going to get kind of a mixed market in a holding pattern while we decide, you know? That's just is what it is.
The French Navy chief says France is trying to bring several countries together at the political level to determine conditions under which the Strait of Hormuz can be reopened in a lasting way.
But I want to show you that just playing for 1-to-1s right now, right? Like you're at profit target. Like I taking 1-to-1 trades
And the French
is
Navy chief says the
incredibly
military would
profitable
ultimately be needed
strategy.
to monitor the Hormuz Strait reopening.
And then leave rudders and you just let it go, you know? Like
The French Navy chief says that there is no evidence at this stage that the Strait of Hormuz has been mined.
holy shit, we're back to the mines. The mine news. Holy. Do they just do that with radar, Kevin? Like how do they find them? Sonar? No. Do they just have like very sensitive directional sonar? A wet sonar, 3-foot sea states. Next. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen a mine sweeper ship. Let me look. Minesweeper ship. Is there, maybe this is a stupid question, but is there a
IMF
reason
says
why
heads of
like
the
a submarine
IEA,
isn't
IMF,
just the
and World
best
Bank have
minesweeping
agreed to
ship?
form a coordination group to maximize the response to the impacts of the war in the Middle East.
Like, why isn't a submarine just like the best possible minesweeping ship? Don't they just use sonar? Metal? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So ship mines are magnetic? I don't know anything about this, clearly. Interesting. Top of our range here. Just risk off. I mean, obviously. Leave runners. Look for breakout. Retesting POC of previous candle now on both ES and NQ. Just putting that yellow box there so you can visualize the POC, the value hold of our previous candle if we're going to get this breakout. Note that Russell still hasn't shown any interest over our edge, but we are trying to develop out and build out this POC here on the daily, while NQ and ES just chopping our range. NQ could not be trading in more of a box than it is right now. Dude, JD Vance talking about fraud is just so funny. Tough on fraud, by the way. This administration, man. I didn't realize we still had like wood and fiberglass ships, but I guess that makes complete sense. That's terrifying. Did he just call himself daddy? RTY coming back up into our high here, our value high on the daily after our hold of our POC off the shift. NQ and ES holding our secondary buyers from our POC of previous candles, rotating back up into highs. We are now watching to see if we get this breakout or if this is going to be where that offer sits. Again, there's been no change in any of the things we've talked about. This is where supply sits. We have risked off our positions. We have taken profits. We are watching to see if we get breakouts now for expansion upwards. Again, this is a hold of POC on our previous candle from the low of our ranges where we expected buyers to be present. We are now watching to see if Russell can start to lead us up again or if we are going to hold this edge as resistance. This is where a potential loss of momentum can occur. We need to see a flip of this and a clear continuation up on our trend for more on the day. We've already been able to trade from the low edge, right, and play up into these highs, but for any sort of expansion potential, we want to see Russell have follow through so that we have full market participation for the next leg up. if we can get this push above here over our our 25-30 areas on NQ with RTY also showing that movement, I'd expect a 50-point move up into 380. Just need to see if we can get the secondary move up into our highs. Again, the trade is free, right? So just let it be. There's nothing to do. Offer still present, exactly where we thought. I'm just taking off drawings for a second so that you can see nothing has changed, right? We have to get over this for continuation, or this is the top of our range. Do we have any questions? Are we on the same page? Like, what's we good? Everything I have drawn makes sense. We understand why we bounced where we did. Yeah, we're ranging, but right, we're getting ready for expansion potential, or a trapping the highs, and then we'll get your curl over, right? But we got to see that first, right? Or it's just an uptrend with a pause where we build out a node for another leg up. You know what I mean? We got to have that catalyst in our highs for that to make sense, and then see the shift. Am I not on Friday? Is that what? Um. Yeah. So probably not. I mean, unless you want to just like hang out, Czar. I can get on Friday. We can hang out. I'll stream some Slay the Spire. Bro, I refunded that game day one. Mario's a trooper. Yeah. No, that game ran so poorly on my computer. I don't know why either. It's not like I have a bad PC. I was having driver issues nonstop. To be fair, I probably could have held off on the refund for a couple of days and let some patches come out. But I was just so hyped for that game, and then it was not what I wanted. So it was an instant refund for me out of spite. But yeah, no, Steam Deck would have been so good. And I hope it still happens. That would be the best. Slay the Spire sucks. I keep losing on Act 3. Come on, man. Just because you're losing, it sucks? Unlucky. Who are you playing as, Czar? Which guy? Swordsman? Swordsman. I think Swordsman's a bit hard, to be honest. I don't play him very often. I think I have the least amount of wins on him. Or you know what? Maybe I have the least amount of wins on what's his name? The guy on the throne. Because he's like hit or miss. Like you either dominate or you die Act 3 because you don't have sustain. Swordsman feels like he hits really hard, but then you like lose in sustained battles in the later levels. The robot and the skeleton guy are by far the easiest. By far. Oh my god, could Russell get on its way, please? Beautiful hold of our 15s off a POC of our previous candle. Expansion outwards with Russell trying to build here. Let's see if we can get some follow through. But regardless, great trade already. Even without the move to 380, this is already a solid trade off of our pivot. I have taken off 5 contracts off of our ad. I have 10 contracts left. My average is 315 on these final runners. Offer sitting at 350. Just following our plan. Do you see what I mean? Like, we're just in trend, man. Play the low. You've better odds. And then just chill in your position for free. Let it go to target. Stress-free day. Later, man. I figured you'd like Bobverse. uh, are there any questions about this? Do we understand? Like, what? Are we good? Yeah, I mean, it takes time, right? It's midday, but like structurally, everything held, everything played. Yeah, buy the dip. It's trend. Stop trying to counter trend. You know, just buy the dip. Easy. Sometimes it's just brain dead. You know, just like you got to turn it off. Turn off your brain and just like let things be. You know, I saw a really good quote yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. This is a great quote from Pax. I love this conversation that's on here. It's we have to learn to let the market work and stop trying to work the market. We are market takers, not market makers. And someone responds, accepting your role as a liquidity provider allows you to stop fighting the tape. Profit comes from aligning with momentum rather than forcing a reversal. What do I talk about nonstop? Your single lot means nothing. Play off of what we see, right? We are order flow traders. We are structural traders. We are playing with the larger participants, right? Find the larger participants, trade around them. That's all we can do. Stop trying to force shit. Just play with them. Play with them. Stop trying to predict. Yeah, PAX. Yes. I'm sorry. I forget that you guys can't see Discord very well. I'll put it into YouTube chat. And then the guy's responses in the comments that I just read. But I think that's a great little one-off.
Al Haddad news reporting from Iranian Foreign Ministry that the Supreme Leader is in good health and may appear in public soon.
Holy banger of a tweet. Real life lore just posted a video 4 hours in the Middle East. I'm sure it was an older video from what's it called? The paid version. Shoot, what is it called? He had a really great series on the Middle East from God, what was it called, man? What's that platform? Nebula. He had an amazing Middle East series on Nebula. I wonder if he released that to the public because of the ongoing conflict. Also, Nebula is great. If you have kids, or even if you just like watch videos on YouTube a lot, like documentaries or like video essays, like Nebula is so worth it. It's super cheap, and it's just like the creme de la creme content of YouTube. I don't know if you. He's very big on Nebula. Let me look to see if that's the same video. Sometimes when there's like conflicts that are ongoing, he likes to release his older content or his private content. Let me see. It's a 5-hour video. Holy. Yeah, this is basically like a full cut of all of his Middle East content. That's amazing though. 4.5 hours.
Israeli broadcaster says that Washington and Tel Aviv have prepared plans to escalate war in case negotiations fail, saying that Israel does not believe an agreement will be reached between Iran and the US.
What's up, Sauce? How you doing, man?
Also, Israeli Broadcasting Authority, quoting an Israeli source, saying that our concerns are growing that Trump will be satisfied with the operation's achievements and declare it
Hey,
over.
huge. Do you have to do any like PT, or are you just like kind of good to go? Just take it easy. Yeah, definitely. How does it feel walking on it? Do you feel like it's different? Like, how's like the physicality of it? Can you tell? Like, are you going to be able to run at the same pace that you were before, you think? Like, what do the doctors say? Oh, wow. God, this sounds awful. I really hope you're gonna be able to run, because that would really suck if it messed up your pace and all of that, and it was uncomfortable, especially for you as like an actual runner. It'd be so sad. He ran into a tree
10 minutes away from the
while
bottom of the hour,
skiing.
get the Bank of Canada meeting minutes.
At like Mach 2. Oh, snowboarding. Sorry, it's not skiing. Mach 2 into a tree. True. Uh, but only in one leg, Kiz? I don't know, man. We're gonna have to break his other leg.
Iranian official Tabatabai says an important letter by Pezeshkian to US people will be released in a few hours. So again, an Iranian official says an important letter by Iran's President Pezeshkian to the US people will be released in a few hours.
Dude, this administration's so funny that we're talking about birthright citizenship, and all of Trump's kids are citizens because of birthright citizenship. And Mark Rubio is his parents weren't citizens, and he is a product of birthright citizenship. Like, this entire administration is just birthright citizenship, and they're trying to take it away. It's just like, okay. Like, what? Oh, it's a classic. Would not vote for him, but I like him, but in a twisted, British sarcastic way. Yeah, I think the best way that I've heard it is like Trump would be hilarious if he wasn't directly impacting my life. You know, like. Ugh. Waiting on RTY to make a higher low probably before we can continue up. Yeah, no, just for watching to see if we can get this push. It's just a slow climb. Honestly, we don't even need Russell to break out. We just need it to not go down. You get me? We're holding exactly where we need on NQ and ES. We just need Russell to just not sell that, and we can keep going up. Like, it's it's a slow but sure grind where we're just holding our value edge and rotating up to target, slowly but surely, right? Just a grind up. Where did our profile go? That was here. Did it get deleted? But yeah, just our value edge trying to shift here, trying to hold our value high now after the shift. 315 is now POC. This used to be our value high. So we're just slowly shifting our distribution on the day, right? We started with a very clear D distribution this morning where we were trading within, I mean, structurally it looks a bit different now, but we basically were trading value to value here earlier, right? And then this then became a supportive hold from our POC, and now this is our value low, but this is where POC was. This then became supportive. We got our push up. This led to our next node. We're now developing out this node, and then our value shifted here. And now we're shifting again where POC is here. So we're watching to see if we can do a similar move like we did here, where this was our value high to POC at 190 to 160. We're now doing a very similar move here at 315 to 330. Can we just move this up and build out this new node, and can POC now hold our value? If so, then we'll get this next leg up and start to head up into our ADR on the day, which gives us that
US stocks
380
gains,
for 20
Dow
target.
Jones up 1%. So again, US stocks extend gains, Dow Jones up 1%.
Just very slow grind, but clear trend. Ideally, again, like Russell pushing value is what we want to see, because it's not gonna feel great until Russell breaks out, because right now we're basically in in what I'd like to call like an oscillating rotation. I guess that means the same thing. We're in an oscillation on Russell, and we're watching to see if something new is going to happen, where we need to see if we're going to, flip out, or if, like we don't know yet. If RTY wants to go sideways and start to lose pressure, then maybe that's it on the day. But we'll see. I don't know. We're slowly starting to stagnate, and it'll probably be like this for another hour if we don't get the move relatively soon, right? Where Russell is basically just going to hold this absorption into our highs, and then we're just going to have to then rotate back down into our lows, and then this is going to be our oscillation on NQ and ES as well, where we do nothing new if we can't sustain in these highs. And then eventually, right, we'll curl over, and then that'll be the end of it. But I just don't have an answer for you. Structurally, we're still doing everything that we need to. We've definitely slowed down, though. Top is in short, brother. Okay. No stop. No target.
One minute ago now to begin the Bank of Canada meeting minutes.
Remember where we're trading, right? Like what we're trying to do is figure out if we're going to be able to get through this node or not. We've done the move, right? Like we've done the upside trade on the day. What we're watching for now is, are we going to be able to get above this pivot?
10
right,
seconds.
and start to build? Or is this going to hold offer and then start to rotate down? I don't have an answer for you yet. All I see is that we're still in an uptrend and we don't have enough of
Bank of
a
Canada
shift.
debated oil shock long-term
or,
CPI effect. Too early to tell. And Bank of Canada members agreed they could take time to see how war has evolved.
Sorry, I had to let him finish talking. Until I see some sort of shift on the higher time frame, I personally
Also,
can't
from the
short.
Governing Council, they agreed to keep options open, and Governing Council agreed they would need to take a risk management approach to monetary policy. Governing Council agreed that they could therefore take some time to see how the war in Iran evolved and what it meant for the outlook. They felt that they had some flexibility given inflation was close to target and core measures suggested limited pressures. That they also felt in the near term that risks to growth looked tilted to the downside, while the oil price shock represented additional upside risk to inflation. They felt higher gasoline prices combined with still elevated inflation essentials could push up inflation expectations. And they acknowledged public perception of inflation remained high after 2022 spike, and the gasoline prices have large impact on households' assessment of inflation.
Yeah, he's a yapper. I don't know about 1 million, but I think like 45 to 55K will probably be the low on BTC for this rotation. I'm planning on adding there. $32K is crazy.
So we have put out the bank account, the meeting minutes on the feed for you to read through.
I don't know. 32K is so low. I feel like shit hits the fan if we go that low. Okay. Hmm. ESPOC trying to shift here on the daily. NQ coming back down to our entry at our 315. Just where our POC is shifted on NQ. ES and RTY. Everything's just developing to the same nodes now, right? All POCs are shifting on the daily up here, which is good because it'll lead to our next trade. I'm still in just a 5 contract runner here at our 15s. I'm fine with allowing these to go back to break even. It doesn't matter to me. We've taken profits into these highs. Just watching to see what happens as Russell comes back down into our low, following the idea that we're just in an oscillation while NQ and ES slow grind up. So again, the concept right now is that RTY can just oscillate and NQ and ES are just going to make slight higher lows while this oscillation is occurring. So we can slow grind up on ES and NQ, and all RTY has to do is just bounce our pivots, and then that leads to rotation in trend. When RTY doesn't do that any longer, right, and it starts to lead down and POC becomes resistance, that's when we'll actually get our high of the day, probably, and then a trend to the downside instead. So just watch as we do this rotation back down into our pivots. I wouldn't be too stressed here. We'll get a great entry if we are going to top out here, but right now we're just pulling back to our low of our range, where we expect RTY to find a bid once again, right? Just like our oscillation we've talked about. So watch what we do into this low and see if we find a reactive level on NQ and ES. We need someone to be offsides at the highs, and then we need structure to play off of for a retest so that we don't just short randomly and then have no ability to know when we're wrong, right? So this push down is really good for us because it's going to let us know that after we get our bounces here, do we get a lower offer where these traders are offsides that we can then play around to then have a level of, or an area to then play as our risk. You can't just short, you can't just long, right? We need an area of interest, or you're just in this open-ended trade where you don't know when you're wrong. And we're still in an uptrend. So it's really important that we see someone offsides that we can play around, and then we see a strong secondary participant step in to let us know that we're doing the right thing. You don't want to be too preemptive with these things. It's just not healthy. So we're getting our bounce right where we thought with Russell into our lows. Just small reaction so far, but ES and NQ also finding that bounce at our pivots. There's been no shift in our trend. But we do need to watch this reoffer now because we've developed a sizable position up here into these highs. And if we can't push, right, we'll retest into them, make a lower offer, and then we have room down, right? So we just watch that reoffer because now we have structure to play around, and we look at Russell. If Russell doesn't want to, bounce these lows, we have room to the downside in our structure, just back down to the bottom of our rectangle. Something crazy is going outside. I don't know. Hearing a lot of noises. Oh my god, there was like non-stop tornado warnings in Ohio yesterday. Like 5 hours. It's just the largest storm. Surprisingly, my power did not go out. I don't know how. Wonder if something crazy is happening today as well. POC into this low so far, just seeing absorption. Not, like I said, no change. We're just break even on our trade right now at 315. Just watching to see if we're going to rotate back down to 275, or if this 315 is going to hold, then we're going to reject our 330. But we're bouncing our lows. There's been no change. Very clear offer sitting above into these highs. This is where we now need to watch our reoffer into this guy. This is your sell, right? Oh yeah, every time. It's like an Amber Alert because it's a national weather emergency or whatever. Every time. I got, I think, 5 of them yesterday. It was crazy. There's our bounce with Russell into our lows and into our edge here on ES and NQ. So if sell side's serious, this is where we'll see our offer sit, right? It's as simple as that. RTY still just holding our lows, not even like a crazy reaction, just a pivot. We watch to see if sell side sits here. That would be our first sign of weakness if we get a strong offer here and a failure to get back up into this upper distribution. And then that would lead to a rotation down to 270, 275 at least. But if we hold, then we're just looking at this as our bid, right? And then we get the flip, and then we go up for a continuation because nothing has changed. Literally nothing has changed. You know, don't overcomplicate it. This is your first risk off. It's the same long as before. The trade's free. You know. What was our reason for the trade? Well, this is our demand, right? This is the same entry that we had before. This is Russell into our lows. We expect a bid to be here, and you can now just watch our reoffer. If you like the sell, if you like the idea that this is the top, right? You have a very clear risk now that you can play around instead of just randomly shorting. So you have two trades potentially here. You've got a offer that you can play into this for downside move. Same thing on ES. Or you've got the long, which is, we've already played the long, right? It's the same opportunity as before. Hopefully that makes sense. And from like a perspective of our volume profile, right? Like this is just us drawings. This is just us retesting our POC, right? On the daily. Just a POC retest. What are we doing? How are we going to short this other than just buying the POC? Right? It's a POC, and then we look for expansion over our value edge. Or we look for POC to go resistant for a rotation through this back down to our value lows, right? But until POC goes resistant, like what the hell are we doing? So your only opportunities are either buy POC and try to sell this node above that we just made, which is what we just talked about, or buy POC and try to hold runners for expansion and over for continuation up. Right? Like you have two opportunities here. You have the long or you have the short here playing off of these highs. And then you're looking for secondary moves on a flip below our POC for rotations down. But regardless, you have to wait for some sort of structure to play around, right? Like this then gives you that opportunity. Do you see what I'm saying from that? Like that you now have a framework in which to trade. This is your first risk off on your shorts, right? This is where the bid is. We're looking to see if we can take out lows, if we're going to get continuation down. But you now have a beautiful reoffer to play off of because you have structure, right? Like it's really, like it's such a better position to be in when you actually have real structure. Bid sitting at 300s here on NQ. New 15s in 30 seconds. Should get an understanding of what we're going to do into this new 15, would be my assumption. So I want to point out again, like both the long and the short from our pivots have both played. You're now just trying to either hold a runner for the short side, or you're looking for the bid to step back in because nothing's invalidated on the Russell side, right? Like there's nothing new. It's just a range. We've re-entered. We're trading within a box from a failure outside of our box. The box being this, right? So where are we headed if this liquidity outside of said box doesn't hold? Well, we're just going to go to our lower edge. Right? Like, watching RTY here into our lows, watching to see if we're going to do anything new, or if this is still just an uptrend but consolidation off of a failure at our highs. Offer is sticking at that 15 to 10, 10 to 15 above on NQ, trying to absorb for one more leg down into our 290 to 270. No real movement here on ES. Just trapping. Just watching our RTY low. This 10 to 15 seller can hold. I would expect one more leg down on NQ, back down to our support, into our low of our box. I will not believe in short continuation in a break of our trend until I see Russell show interest below, personally. I just think this is a rotation. That doesn't mean that you can't make money off of it, though. But I just don't expect anything larger until I see Russell start to lead. Watching for buy side liquidity into 290 to 275, just like before. Following our pathing.
According to the Financial Times, Trump threatened to stop weapons for Ukraine unless Europe joined Hormuz coalition.
No, he's threatening Ukraine's sovereignty if Europe doesn't join. He doesn't care what happens to Ukraine. He's threatening if he will stop shipping weapons to Ukraine and let Russia take it if Europe doesn't help win a war that's
Trump
already
threatened
won.
to stop supplying weapons for Ukraine in order to pressure European allies to join a coalition of the willing to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, according to people briefed on the discussions. So 3 officials familiar with the discussion said that Trump responded by threatening to stop supplies to PURL, NATO's weapons procurement initiative for Ukraine funded by European nations.
This is pushing into our next risk off for short side on NQ, bottom of our range. This is where you'd be looking for a bid. So we push down into this 290, 275 and RTY into our lows. Here's the bigger piece that just came out on that.
According to Israeli Broadcasting Authority, citing an Israeli source, said negotiations between the US and Iran are not progressing positively.
Poor Zelensky, man. Like, oh, brother's just trying to survive. XY, what's your protein of choice? Are you a chicken guy? I'm looking at beef prices right now. Holy. It's bad news for Rory. Ground beef at all-time highs. That's his protein of choice. Oh, almost at full target here on NQ for me. Almost at full target here on ES as well. Just POC. Previous POC before the shift. So this 35 here on ES, and this is our POC here at 75 on NQ. I think this is a great risk off for secondaries. This is Russell into VWAP. No hold yet or bid, right? So downtrend still intact. So you want to leave a runner because Russell hasn't found a low yet, but this is target. And then we'll watch to see if we can flip this for one more leg or if this is going to hold. Russell PT is 39.5.
So just following the comments from Israeli broadcasting authorities saying negotiations between the US and Iran are not progressing positively. Just keeping that on the S&P 500 moving towards the downside. You also had the other headline from the FT that Trump threatened to stop weapons for Ukraine unless Europe joined the Hormuz coalition. WTI also seeing a tiny bit of movement towards the upside, but again, quite small. Again, post those last two headlines.
There isn't a great entry here. I'm hoping on the new 15, which happens in 30 seconds, we get a secondary entry. We'll see. If not, you're probably gonna have to wait for this rotation to finish. I'm just keeping an eye on it. What I'd like to see is ES find a bounce here into our POC shift. And then ideally Russell retest the CTH for one more leg down. And then we go on our merry way. But we'll see. We might just go straight for it. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in the new 15s. If we get the opportunity, it'll be worth playing. But let's watch for a bit of relief here and then see if we get that reoffer. I mean, ideally, I'd like to see that. I'm more interested on the ES retest from here for directionality. I don't know if we're gonna get it though. Just our value, right? Our previous candle. So like 40 to 45. We just gotta wait for Russell to find what's low. I'm not worried about this. There'll be plenty of move. Like again, this is Russell VWAP. Like I expect a bounce. Where did I enter short? I'm not short. I just gave short pathing. I didn't play this. Oh yeah, because I have it pathed. I have entries for ES and NQ pathed. All right, this is your next target. Expect bounces here. This is Russell into value low and NQ and ES into our bid. And then we'll watch to see if we get a solid reoffer or just a bounce in general. But this is where we should expect it. Watch our ETH high. I don't want you guys to get FOMO on moves like this where we just like nuke. Like there was a one entry and now you just have to wait. And sometimes you're going to miss these things. It's okay. It'll be okay. If you didn't want to take the short at the highs, you just have to wait. Because when this bids, it's going to be incredibly reactive and it's going to immediately stop you out and blow up your account. So just wait. I mean, I gave you the play for the short. I don't know what to tell you. It's literally this is the better short. And straight's call of the short. I don't know what else to say. You wait for a structural break, you wait for retest, you wait for Russell to lose, and then you go. If you want to play the short, go for it. I played the long all the way up. Yeah, I don't know, man. I play structure. There's no structure off of that other than what I gave. Now we're just into our value low on Russell. I'm not playing a short for this. If you feel like you missed something, that's on you. But giving an arbitrary call with no entry, no stop, no actual play, just a word, it's very easy. No anything. What are you supposed to do with that? This is where we are based off of where we looked for the reoffer. Do we see the reoffer? This is what I have marked. This is where we are now. We're watching to see if we can get something here potentially above. But got your sell above our highs, our look back inside of our structure, our rotation down, and then a very dramatic sell with Russell. We're now bouncing off our pivots at our 25s on ES and our 30s, I guess, on NQ. Potentially one more leg down to our value low. I'm just trying to find us an entry for that value low move. I would like to see a retest of at least something higher. I mean, maybe this node into 75s. I just don't know. I would expect the bid to be here and then we retest, but I mean, if it's just going to be a liquid and just go straight to target, it's going to do it without me, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
US Ambassador Whitaker, speaking on Fox News, says Trump is looking for a NATO that is there for the US. Whitaker says it's clear that we're talking to the right people in Iran. Whitaker says we believe there's an off-ramp that Iran can choose.
I mean, all we're doing is waiting for a reoffer. That's literally it. There's nothing else to do. There's no structure. Like, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing. Like, what's your trade? If you didn't take the entry that I gave, then what's the trade? You have to wait for Russell to figure out what it wants to do at our value edge. There's potentially one more leg down, but I'd like to see higher reoffers. Again, like the only thing that we have is an offside buyer outside of value above our previous highs that then re-entered and then reoffered and then is rotated down. This move is just nonsense that we just did. It's just an overreaction. So now we have to correct some of the overreaction. If we can come back into this node and sell, I would really like that. And then come down for a full value retrace, great, right? Like that makes sense. At least then we get a clear sell and flip of this POC to our offer, right? But without it, I mean, it's just going to happen without me because the trade doesn't, I have very low confidence that we hold any of this. We might have to wait for Russell to come back down to its 30-second opening range where we found our bottom this morning. I don't know. But if I don't have a structural level to play around, I'm not taking a trade. It is really that simple. $30 seconds till new 15s. Opening below POC of our previous candle. Watching our lows. Lows holding so far. Russell into 30-second opening range. I'm guessing that we'll probably head down to 180 on NQ. We take out lows here. Sorry, I don't tolerate anyone giving no information and then trying to make you trade around it. I think it is completely irresponsible. Watching our 180 here. So we push into our value low, following our ES pathing as well. This is our value low on NQ and ES. I expect a bit of a bid here on NQ and then one more leg down into 160 for our value edge test, but 180 is heavy volume. Yes, full range rotation. All right, now we can look for, I think, re-offers. This is our value low edge, so we should expect a pretty clear bid here. And then we watch to see what we do.
The Nasdaq 100 index pairs gains to 1%, had been up 1.8%.
This is ES into our value low and 30-second opening range low here. I'm watching to see if Russell's going to flip. If it does, then we'll have a huge sell leg upon us. If it doesn't, then we'll just do a reversion trade back up, back to POC. It's really that simple. We are trading into our ES target now off of our reoffer, and I've pushed down. We're watching to see what we do now. It's pretty important to let us know if this is just now going to trade between our value and our POC here, or if we're going to flip. Just keep an eye on this. We've reverted back to our 15-minute VWAP now.
The S&P 500 index pairs advanced to 0.7%, had been up 1.2%.
So on our higher time frame plan, we've hit our target from our longs at our 310s. We're following our downside pathing. Again, I'd like to see ideally a reoffer to follow this leg if we're going to head down, where we maybe like reoffer 217, 220, that area off of a bid here, off of our value low. If we can get that, I would feel a lot more comfortable looking for a push down to 950 on the day, 2400, 950. But I want to see a better reoffer. We can't just enter on a singular candle that's just going down off of our target from our longs. There has to be a better trade than that. I'm glad we did the full value rotation for both sides, but I need to see a bit more for me to care for anything new. It's just a full rotation of our value. But I'd expect a pretty drastic and dramatic sell here if Russell can hold our lows. But I'd still would like to see NQ show interest a bit higher first. Or a very clear flip of our lows, and then we can start to head down to our lower targets. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't think the sell's done at all.
According to the New York Times, the US doubling fleet of A-10 attack planes in the Middle East.
I think we've just come down to our reversion, and then we're going to flip here if we get below our 30-second opening ranges. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on the most. Mm, 160-180 might be playable with Russell leading down
18 A-10 planes in the Middle East
for a rotation down to 100s. Keeping an eye on it with Russell lead. As long as Russell's leading down, the sell isn't over. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Watching our 160-180 to see what we do here as we push into our value edge on NQ. Same thing with ES into 10 to 15. Just watch our reoffers. Watch Russell into our 30-second opening range low and value edges here on ES and NQ.
We have posted the article from the New York Times on the feed for those interested. Watching our ES edge here, this is value retest, POC to value of our current candle, as well as Russell into our 30-second opening range. Watching to see if we absorb here, or if this is going to bottom short term for a rotation back up to our POC in the daily. We want to see a very clear sell if it's going to happen into these lows. Again, 160, 180 is where we're watching for absorption, and then watching to see if we get a secondary leg below that. If we do, I think it looks pretty good for continuation down for another leg. If not, then this is just a failure to look below value, and then we'll look for rotations, like I said, back up to POC or our previous seller. So keep an eye on this area. If we can show any sort of like real clear sign that we want to hold in value, that will be here. If not, this is just going to be Russell finding a short-term low and then holding our 30-second opening range as resistance for a continuation down. Axios, the US opening a call
RTY is controlling the market.
Bundle and export end-to-end
Go with the flow of
AI
that.
systems to international markets.
If we find a local bottom on that and we have momentum to upside, then don't look for short. We need to lose momentum on Russell for next leg down.
Sell side again is absorbing into 160 to 180. We're looking for them to continue to try to absorb here and get us back below if we're going to do another leg down. If not, we're going to find a very clear bid here at 160 to 140 and make that higher low for that push to POC. Russell should help lead us and give us directionality. We are trading at our 10 to 14 on ES here at our value edge. If we can't get back into value, this will be our sell for our next leg down. Target is 100 on NQ.
We have posted the article out from Axios on the feed for those interested.
New hourly candles have opened. Retesting our edge here. Watching to see if we put in a lower offer or if we can build and then give it a pop. POC attempting to shift here on ES down into this low on the daily. NQ now trying to hold our 160
NYMEX
after absorbing
WTI
into
crude
180.
May futures settle at around $100.12 a barrel, down $1.26 or 1.24%. NYMEX gasoline May futures settle at around $3.09 a gallon. NYMEX diesel May futures settle at around $4.05 a gallon. And NYMEX natural gas May futures settle at around $2.81. Stellantis then talks to make Chinese EVs at idle Canadian plant. Cuba's Diaz-Canal thanks Putin for Russia's delivery of crude oil.
$160 holding, pushing down into our 140 for the 1-to-1. We've got to flip and take out that low for that move down to 100s for runners. Russell should help lead. We need to see break of lows. If we don't get it, any pop over 180s could lead to an upside move instead of a downside. Just to understand, you have 20 points of risk right now with that absorption into 160 to 180 that we expected. We need to see lows be taken, and we need to see Russell follow through here. We are holding POC of previous candles. 140, there's your 1-to-1. It's your first risk off, and now your trade is free. And now we hope for 40 more points. ES target will be 600, 599, our reversion zone. Lows taken on both. See if we can get some continuation here, or if that's it. I'd like to see
edges
RTY
higher
head
against
to
the Japanese yen,
ETH low,
last up 0.04%.
ideally. Off of the flip of our 30-second opening range, personally. Yeah, that's kind of my hope as well. I'm taking off another 10 here.
Iran's president to Americans says US ties among most misunderstood. Iran president issues a letter addressing American people.
Oh boy.
Iran's President Pezeshkian, in a letter to American people, says Iran harbors no enmity towards ordinary Americans.
What caused the sell? I mean, it was just a. I can give you 19 different reasons, but it was just
Iran's president says
higher
Iran
time
never
frame
pursued
pivot.
aggression.
It's a big node off our higher time frame. It was our PT for our long, and we had a little look above our value. A distribution tried to build, a failure, and then a rotation down. And then we had news-based catalysts in a very illiquid market. So that's really it. That was 50 points for me. Yeah, I'm just have a PT and a stop. It is what it is. We'll do what we do. 100s is just your 30-second opening range, so it's kind of expecting where I feel like
Iran's
we're going to
president
head.
tells Americans to look past rhetoric.
I found it easy to blame it on CL. Well, that's Russell, right? That's your energy. So that's why I reference Russell so much. So I'm basically blaming it on CL as well, right? Do you see, like, notice every time
Iran's
Russell finds that
president
bounce,
speaking says
it's
portraying
just
Iran
an
as a
immediate,
threat is neither
insane
consistent
move
with
on
historical
NQNES.
reality nor with present-day observable facts. Iran's president says attacking Iran's vital infrastructure targets the Iranian people, and such actions carry consequences that extend far beyond Iran's borders.
I don't think anything's really changed, but we'll see. My stop's just sitting over 180. As long as Russell's holding our 30-second opening range, I don't know. I'm not really worried. I might re-enter this if we take out highs here over 180s and then get back down 160, but I don't know. This is news-based, so I'm just going to let this play. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, I think that's good to get stopped there. Again, like, you were invalidated. That's good. You let the trade play. You made money. I mean, or hopefully you took risk off. There's nothing worse than letting a trade that was very green on you go red for no reason. That's how you blow up an account, because now you'll revenge trade. Yeah, just let the trade play. If it invalidates, it invalidates. You can flip the other side if you want. Watch to see. This Russell bid, again, like, the market is Russell right now. I cannot stress that enough, that we will go up until Russell loses momentum. We will go down until Russell loses momentum. The market is RTY right now. NQ and ES are reactionary into our pivots. We play said pivots, but if we don't have follow through on full market participation, then we will go in the opposite direction. It's okay. Things don't have to go to full target for you to make money.
Senator Johnson and Foon announced path forward to fund DHS.
We're just watching for the flip now. This is either going to be a beautiful trap off of a failure from buyers or a rotation back up. So we just watch our 180, 160, which was our short, right? Where we absorbed sell side. We're now watching to see if we can flag above and bid.
Johnson and Foon says the GOP will fully reopen Homeland Security Department.
Again, on the higher time frame, this is all we're doing. It's just reoffering our hourly candle. Yeah. Like, don't get carried away here.
Iran's president says the response has been measured and self-defense.
So this is either going to, like I said, going to be where we bid and hold, or a beautiful trap from sellers on a look below and then reoffer. So let's watch this. If we can hold here, awesome. If not, we'll flip and then look for the reoffer again for the short continuation with a new catalyst. 30 seconds, 2015s. Russell still holding our 30-second opening range is resistance. We're going to need to see a very clear high or low here. Or, again, this is just going to be a beautiful trap. We want to see clear bids here at 15s on ES, 15s to 10s. Same thing with NQ into this 180, 160 into new 15s. Or, again, we're just going to fake a break and then pop the other direction. We want to see clear flags. Testing into our POC shift here on NQ and ES, watching to see if we're going to get a solid reoffer and a look below, trapping these traders above, or if the bid is going to be able to step here and then get back over 180. You want to see a clear reaction at 160s and then a pushback over 180s on NQ for this to be valid, or again, sell side is going to take advantage and try to sweep below here, trapping this liquidity above. Again, Russell has lost momentum, which means that there is no bid in the market. The bid steps out of the way. It's gone as soon as Russell loses momentum. We need to see that higher low on Russell for you to feel comfy in this trade. We need to see ES find a bid here at 10s and get back over 15s with Russell also showing
US surveillance
interest.
system a major cyber incident.
Where it's going to be the same short again.
The president suggests the US entered the war as a proxy for Israel.
What a crazy theory. $160s holding on NQ. Need to get over 180s and bid for secondaries, or this will be where the offer sits at 180, and then we will look below, trapping this liquidity above. ES 10s holding, testing into 15s now, just like we talked about. Russell trying to find a higher bid, but still holding our offer above. We need to see a very clear secondaries here. Get back above, and then we will have a potential right side of V starting on the 15 with a 3-bar to the upside. We need to watch to see what we're going to do here. Incredibly
Brent
important
crude
test
futures
into this
settle at
pivot.
around $101.16 a barrel, down $2.81 or 2.7%.
I am incredibly uncomfortable in trades without Russell looking over. Nothing is shifted on RTY to let us know that this looks good. Look below off of a rejection at our 180s. Look below after a rejection of our 15s. Russell holding our 30-second opening range as resistance. Just pushing back down into ESPOC and NQPOC. Very two-sided, but we're watching to see if this offer is going to step down here now at 160 for the same short idea as before, or if we're going to be able to hold. Very slow. Later, man. Flippers, I still am on the same page as you, but if it doesn't happen relatively soon, then I'm not going to wait for it. If it takes too long, then we'll have the opposite effect potential. So just be careful. I think playing this 160, 180 is totally fine, especially with Russell leading down. But first risk off is still 140 for the 1-to-1. I'm just a bit worried with how slow we are. But RTY is still holding below, which is all I really care about.
According to Globe, Bank of Canada's Macklem to join Finance Minister in China.
We're just not going to be very confident until we show interest below here on ES, right? It's just an inside candle. I think the hourly still has a ton of potential. I just don't know if you're going to get your short-term trade, right? Like all we need to do is reject this, and then we can look for that continuation down for the gap. But yeah, see what we do. Oh boy, so two-sided. 50 seconds till new 15s. Still holding POC of our previous candle. That is, of course, your first risk off into these lows. If you're trying this. Russell still leading down, but holding. Just very two-sided while we wait.
Chevron say they entered a pact on talks or proposed power generation with Microsoft. No commercial terms have been finalized and no definitive pact at this time.
I'm really not trying to stay here for the last hour. I might dip out here soon if we don't get this move. I was not planning to be here for the full session. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be willing to wait here for this break. Personally. I don't think anything's really changed. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna head out. I'm not gonna sit here and wait for this. That's crazy. I'm not staying here for the full session. I'm fine missing out on this last move. I have zero faith in this low until we see Russell show interest above back into value, or this is just going to be a trap off of flag down. We're just retracing part of this hourly candle,
According
and
to
then
Punch
we'll
Bowl,
look
Senate
for a
GOP
continuation
to try
down.
to pass DHS funding on
Um,
Thursday.
Yeah, I just don't know how much we're gonna have to go up, and I don't have the patience to sit here and wait for it. But I'd watch to see where we're gonna go, and then look for the move down if it's gonna happen. But I mean, we're just in our value, so if we start to show POC as resistance below 160, like we've been talking about, that will be our sign that we're headed down to 100s and then 060s. But if we continue to see 60s as supportive instead, then we'll go up. It's really that simple. So if there's nothing that looks good opportunity-wise, then I would just not touch it. But we know our trigger, which is we need to see that flip of our POC here at 160. We can see where that shift occurred, right? POC has shifted down to this low, and it has room up to our POC shift up here. So again, I'm not sitting here for it. You guys, good luck. I'm not doing it. Goodbye. I will see you tomorrow.